Hi, I'm Mike Spence. I'm president and co-owner of SelbySoft. We are a point-of-sale software system for the coffee and pizza industry, and I've been doing that for 25 plus years. And so I thought this was kind of an interesting topic to tackle in a webinar here because we often get people who purchase one of our customers' businesses, and they come in as the new owner, and frankly, sometimes there's some questions they should have asked before they actually signed the paperwork, and we see this fairly often. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to put this together and tackle some of this for you guys. So one of the first things I want you all to do is, if you're thinking of buying an existing business, an existing restaurant, coffee shop, pizzeria, get in touch. Get in touch with everyone involved. As soon as you can, talk directly to the point of sale company that existing business is using. Even if you plan on switching point of sale, talk to that company so they know what's going on. You might be amazed, but we get calls all the time from people that they call our customer service number, and we're hearing it's a new contact, and we ask some questions, and we find out they bought the business 2, 3, 4 months ago, and this is the first time they've reached out to us after they've already bought everything. You want to know, when was the last contact the point of sale company had with the shop? If possible, and if the current owners are okay with allowing the point of sale company to share this information, what were some of the last issues that came up? What were some of those last technical support calls that came through? Not just the point of sale company. You want to do this with any equipment vendor in the shop, whether it's refrigeration, ovens, espresso machines, or if it gets right into things like your internet, your phone company, the Wi-Fi. Ask these questions: who's handling that for the business currently, and how is it handled with the business currently? Interesting case, 4 or 5 years ago, we had a customer who'd bought an existing business and had no idea that the whole way they were getting their internet access was they were sharing a Wi-Fi signal with another business. If that other business decides to turn it off, you're out of luck, right? So find all this out before you actually join in. Some of the other things we want to ask about is hardware questions. What are the warranties on equipment? Is the equipment still under warranty? Does that warranty transfer from an existing owner to the new owner? Again, not just the point of sale equipment. This could be the ovens, the espresso machine, anything else. Any maintenance contracts on this? Before you purchase the business, you might want to find out what the cost to replace or repair any equipment that needs it. Sometimes we've seen people purchase a business and then realize that some of the equipment's on its last legs. So you just signed a contract, you're paying all sorts of money to your loan, the existing customer, the existing old business owner or the bank, and now you have even more money you have to hand out there. Is any of the equipment nearing end of life? That's a really big one that we want to know about there. When we talk about end of life, operating systems, for example, Windows and even the Apple operating systems will end. So if you're buying a business that's running Windows XP right now, not a good idea. You're going to have to replace it, right? Anything really outdated. We've had people purchase businesses with cash drawers, printers, things like this that are really on their last legs, and they didn't think, oh my gosh, what if it fails? What happens then? Ask your current point of sale company, and I would say ask all your equipment vendors, hey, how long do you think I have on this? Should I plan on replacing it now, a year from now, 5 years from now? What's your expectation as the expert there? If they're an honest company, they'll give you an honest answer, right? I get asked this occasionally by the people who think it out ahead of time. And we say, look, you're good today, but you might want to start putting money away to replace that printer in the next year because we see that it's 4 or 5 years old. Ask those questions if you can before you buy, so that you have not just what you're buying today, but what your expected costs are for the future here. Okay. That'll lead us into some of these other questions. What about software and service contracts, support, things like that? Is the store currently on a support contract, a services contract, or has that ended? And when does it end? Is it transferable? Is there a fee? So what I mean by this is, for instance, if you purchase a business that already has SelbySoft in it and it's currently on a support plan, our expectation is that support plan the previous owner paid for transfers to you, the new owner. Not every point of sale company does that. In some cases, that support plan ends and the new owner is expected to sign up for a new contract. In some cases, we have owners out there that have not paid for a support and services contract, and that's okay. But you as a new owner coming in, now when you call us for the first time, it's an uncomfortable situation where we have to say, oh, by the way, we need to ask you for a credit card, right? So you want to make sure you're covered on this. When you buy a business, you're going to need extra help on the point of sale and most likely other equipment as well. So make sure you have a support contract there, that you know what the fees are to transfer. In our case, we typically waive any transfer fees, although I have seen point of sale companies charge, anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to transfer support from one customer to another customer. Make sure you know what's covered. Don't rely on the existing owner to tell you exactly what is and is not covered under a support contract. It's not that they're lying. In some cases, it is. But in most cases, it's that owner may not remember correctly what they signed up for. So find out exactly what is and is not covered. Do you get help with training, or is that an additional fee? When you take over a shop, you're going to need to know how the point of sale operates. And I strongly suggest that you get that training from the point of sale company directly. You want it from the existing owner, in as much that they know how things operate on a daily basis. However, features they're not using or items that they're not using from a point of sale standpoint, they can't teach you, right? So only the point of sale company can show you how to do that. Set up training sessions, make sure they're included with the service contract, make sure that they're free if you can, and understand fully how the point of sale system is going to operate for you. Make sure they do a security review with you. The old owner may have been really lax on security or really tight on security. You as the new owner most likely have a staff of people that you don't know very well, and you might want to be a little more on top of security. Unfortunately, we've seen where a new owner comes in and employees kind of try to take advantage. They see this as an opportunity to go, oh, hey, he doesn't know how the shift closes work, so maybe I can, take $5, $10 there, or they don't know what our procedure is on free drinks, so we'll take advantage there. Go through a security review with the point of sale system, and do that once or twice after you've taken over so that you can adjust it appropriately. Emergency support, is that an extra fee? That's something that you always have to ask as well. What are the hours of support and what's considered normal support or additional support? The last thing is expectations. Your expectations of what the point of sale company is supposed to provide and their expectations of what they will provide might be different, right? Something I really find that people neglect to think about is when they come in, often they want to make manipulations to the menu, things like that. Small changes are normally covered, but we have had customers purchase an existing store and completely change the entire menu. You need to make sure, is that something you can do yourself? Do you need the point of sale company to do that for you? Is there a charge for that? How long does that take? And get that expectation met and covered here. Credit cards, this is always a touchy subject for everyone. Are you going to stay with the current company, or are you going to switch? If you do stay with the current company, do you have to sign a contract, or can you go month by month until you get your ducks in a row and understand what's going on, right? Realize you do not want to switch your credit card services over a couple days before you're taking over the shop. Some credit card companies can take 7 to 14 business days or longer to get you set up. We've had this unfortunate event where people try to get set up on a credit card system and they take over on a Monday and the credit card system isn't set up until next Friday. That means that money is going in the old owner's account. You have to make sure you have something in writing that says you will get that money from the old owner, okay? Because it can cause a number of issues, obviously cash shortages first off. The best thing to do is get in touch with those credit card companies and your point of sale system and find out what the current contracts are. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, people, but you have to do this. And find out how long the expectation is to get it switched over. Get all those setup sheets in well ahead of time, get them tested, and then plan the swap over. If you're taking over on a Monday, will the point of sale or the credit card company do a swap on a Sunday night? Or do they require that it happens Monday morning? Are you going to be down for 2 hours your first day open without being able to take credit cards while they're switching this over? What are the rates? If the existing shop has been there for 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully you're not paying a higher rate than they currently are, even though you're a new owner, because it's based on the past business. But you have to find that out. That's your responsibility. Those rates should be as good, if not better. If you can stay with the current company that's being used, stay with them at least for the short term. It's the easiest swap over, right? If you're going to sign up with them, however, make sure you know what that contract term is. A lot of people will sign you up for a 3-year contract right off the bat, and then you're stuck, right? If you're looking at a new credit card company, do not believe the "we can make it work" kind of thing. They can't in some cases. I get calls from credit card processors all the time that talk to us, and then their answer to the customer, after we elaborate and explain exactly how we can work with them, their conversation with the customer is, "Yeah, I talked to SelbySoft and everything's fine." It's not, okay? So you have to find that out. You have to make sure that the day you take over, everything truly is fine. Sometimes there's a third-party software that integrates between the point of sale and the credit card processor themselves. Who's paying for that? How's that get arranged? How's that get swapped over? Again, questions you need to ask. The last thing you want to do as a business owner is pay all that down payment, get everything agreed upon, and then have a long laundry list of items that you have to pay on top of that. If you're doing chip readers, the EMV, chip and pin type machines, if you're switching credit card processors, most likely those chip readers need to be reprogrammed or replaced. You need to find out who's doing that and who actually handles all that and pays for it. Okay. We're going to get to one of my biggest pet peeves here. The next things that no one talks about is who owns the data. When you buy the point of sale, when you buy the coffee shop or the pizzeria, does it come with all of the data? Is the previous owner going to give that to you? And for those of you thinking of selling a shop, are you going to charge for that? If so, you need to be very upfront about it. Usually all that information is included, but we do occasionally get an existing owner who calls us and asks us to wipe out everything but the last 6 months before they transfer that license over to the new owners. You really want, if you can, the employee records, if you're responsible for past payroll, depending on how you're transitioning this. But you absolutely want that customer history and sales history. That's what gives you the leg up over being in a brand new store, right? This way you can actually see what has transpired, in the past till now, and make good, educated decisions for the future. If you don't get that information, it's no better than just starting your own business from scratch. It's incredibly important to have it. Make sure that's in your contract. Make sure that all of that information, is it 6 months, a year, 3 years? I recommend at least 3 years if you can. If you can't, get at least a year. Anything less just really isn't very useful to you. There's really not a lot of reasons to not get all of the information. A lot of owners don't like to provide that information because sometimes they're worried that you might go back through it and go, "Oh my gosh, you told me you made X amount, but you really made this amount," right? As someone who's buying an existing store, it does help you make sure that the numbers you're being provided with are accurate. The point of sale doesn't lie. Okay, so if those numbers don't match up to what the tax records are, et cetera, that might be a huge red flag. See if you can see that information ahead of time. So gift cards. This is a really big one. It is amazing how many people, especially in the coffee industry, will purchase an existing business and never once consider the gift and loyalty system. You need to find out what happens with that. Who's responsible? If I take over an existing coffee shop, am I going to honor all the existing gift cards, whether those are paper gift certificates or plastic gift cards? And what about the punch cards? Again, plastic or paper? How many are out there? Do you have any idea? Does the previous owner have any idea? Guys, it's always more than you think. It's thousands. If the store's been open for any amount of time, they have thousands of those things out there. How much is actually outstanding from a dollar value as well as from a point value? Because realize you're going to be in charge of that. So if the previous owner sold $10,000 in gift cards, they took $10,000 in money, right? In physical cold hard cash that went in their bank. You now are expected to honor that $10,000 in gift cards. And that's okay. You don't want to make your customers grumpy and tell them you're not going to honor it and be without it. But the question is, how much of it are you honoring? And is that part of the sale? If there's $10,000 in outstanding liability, can you knock a few $1,000s off the buying price of the store? Is that $10,000 over the last year, or is that $10,000 over 5 years? Those are questions you need to really think about before you purchase and make those part of your negotiation on the front side. How many paper punch cards are out there? How many paper gift certificates? This is a real iffy one because they may not have an answer for you. Paper punch cards, if they've been put to the side, great. If they're still using them today, you may have a really hard time finding out how many paper punch cards are out there. It just may not be able to be answered. So then you have to decide, do you accept paper punch cards for the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days that you're open? Just make sure you have a plan in place. And I'm more than happy to cover that one-on-one with anyone if they have any questions. I've helped many people with this. Something you 100% want to make sure you can put into your buying agreement is what happens for the few weeks or month before you purchase the shop. We've had, this is super unfortunate, but we've seen a couple of times over the years where a store, the agreement's made to purchase, 2 weeks before closing, the current owner runs a buy one, get one free gift card special. Think about that. You walk in, you buy a $100 gift card, he gives you 2 $100 gift cards. It's an easy way that you the existing owner can take in cash before they sell the store. It leaves you, the new owner, really in a slump there. That's the biggest problem with it. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. And realize, someone just chatted out here that's watching this, that this will constitute debt. It does. Absolutely, it's debt that you're taking on. It's a liability from that gift card standard. And I will say you have to look at the loyalty points as well. I'm going to show you, this is actual data gathered from some customers that I just pulled randomly out here. On the gift side, these are 4 different locations that have been open. One for 5 years, one for 3 years, 8 years, and 6 years. This is what their outstanding gift card liability is currently in those stores. Think about this: $13,000, $5,000, $14,000, $13,000. That means in this shop that's been open for 3 years, that there's $5,737 in gift cards outstanding. If you buy that store, that $5,000 is now your liability. This $13,000 over 5 years or $14,000 over 8 years, chances are not all of that is going to be used. Some of those gift cards will never be redeemed, but you have to work out an agreement as to what percentage of this you're going to be responsible for. You can't hold anyone to it, but you can at least say, okay, how much of this is outstanding in the last year? What's the likelihood of a percentage of this 13,000 that you're going to have to be responsible for? It could be quite high. Let's get down into loyalty. This is something that'll scare you because this part is almost never thought of. 5 years, this one store had 450,000 points outstanding. That's 45,000 free drinks at buy 10, get one free. Think about that. 45,000 free drinks that you, the new owner, are responsible for providing if they come due. That's a lot of money, guys. So you want to make sure that you know what's coming up here. All of these, this store for 8 years, almost 50,000 free drinks at their buy 10, get one free program. And depending on the type of program, they adjust that. There's a couple with buy 12 or buy 14. But you have to really think about, okay, in my first year of ownership, how many of these 45,000 free drinks am I going to give away? You can't just end it. If you end it, you're going to alienate your customer base. It's ripping off a Band-Aid that you might not want to rip off. And people are really nervous when they find out a new owner takes over, right? So if you end that, you may actually wind up losing customers. If you think about phasing it out, you're going to have to do that over a 90 to 180 day period, in my experience. The biggest thing I want you to be aware of is that these are questions you need to ask well before you sign the paperwork. Okay. Again, we see this. I'm gonna put this up here. And by the way, this whole thing will be recorded and put on Facebook and YouTube. I really encourage you to think this through. Buying an existing business is super exciting. It's a huge venture for any of you. You've saved up a lot of money to do it. And the pizza and coffee industries specifically are fantastic industries to be in. They're just full of great people out there. And I know you're going to run into them. But we want you to go into it eyes wide open so that you don't get into it and go, oh my gosh, I wish I would have. Okay. Don't sign the papers and then call companies like us. Get this information up front. Okay. Consider it a PSA from us. If you have any questions, you want to call me directly, phone number's right there, 800-454-4434. You can always email us at sales@SelbySoft.com. You can also email me directly at mike@SelbySoft.com. We're on Facebook and every other social media platform under the sun here, so feel free to reach out. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to maybe talking to you here in the future, and good luck out there.